Hey guys, it's Brian with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana with another PSA Grade Reveal video. As you guys know, I do things a little bit differently. I'm a little nerdier than most, and I love math, and I love digits, and I love calculations, and I love looking at profit margins and arbitrages in the market. And so I've got a little bit of twist to this one. I'm going to switch you over to picture-in-picture real quick before we get to the grade reveal. I'm not going to take a lot of time, but I want to show you the spreadsheet that I put together. I think I've done this once before for you all. I figure this makes it a little bit more fun so you can see what I'm into it for, what the likely fair market value is, and then what my ultimate net profit would be, or my net revenue after the fact. So up here on the top, you can see it was an 18 card submission at a $50 economy event to PSA. I won one of those email lotteries or whatever. You're probably wondering, why did you send 18 cards when those, lottery events give you 20 cards to send? Well, number one, I'm an idiot and I can't follow directions. I accidentally sent in 2 Chris Middleton autograph cards as well. I didn't realize that these $50 economy events, you cannot get autograph cards graded. And so I accidentally sent 2 Chris Middletons in there. So we're wiping them from this equation. I was just putting those in my PC anyway because I'm a huge Bucks fan. I sent in 2 Chris Middleton numbered to 99 rookie autographs and got them graded. Just so you guys know, I got an 8-10 on one and a 9-10 on the other, 10 autos for both, but an 8-10 and a 9-10. So that's neither here nor there. So what we've got left is 18 cards. You can see the 18 cards over here on the left. I sent this order in, just so for those of you who are curious on these economy events, this is about the turnaround time. It was 6 weeks door to door. Pretty impressive. I'm very excited about it. I don't like 50. I sure would like 25, but as you'll see from the numbers, I did okay even with that $50 submission fee. So shipped it on March 15th, 2022, just a couple months ago, or a month and a half ago. Received the grades today. I'm filming this on the 30th. Received the grades 2 days ago. You'll probably be watching this sometime next week. But long story short, it took about 8 weeks door to door. 1 day shy of 8 weeks door to door. That's not bad. Here's the list of the cards over here. You'll like these cards. Every single card except for one is a card from the 1990s. I had one 2019 Shaq gold number to 10 card in here as well. But that's it, guys. Stay tuned. I'm going to walk you through the cards, and in the end, I'm going to take this big black box off here. We're going to look at what the card graded, what the pop of the card is, what the card I paid for it in the what I paid for the raw card, what the PSA fee was per card, how much total I had into each card with the grading fee included. Then we're going to look at what the current gross fair market value is of these cards. Then we're going to calculate the net fair market value, assuming that there's a percentage cost to sell these cards on eBay or some other platform. And then we're going to look at the overall, gross profit margin. So we'll be able to see how I did on each one of these cards, depending on the grade that I got. And then we'll get to see at the end how I did overall based on the grades that I received from PSA. I'm not going to spoil it. Stay tuned. Here we go. I'm about to transition you over so we can look at these 18 cards and how each one of these cards graded. Okay, guys, you know me. You've seen my reveals before. I don't take a lot of time. First up is our 1998 Skybox Premium Intimidation Nation. I am working on this set. Sent in to Gary Payton. Came back a PSA 8. Pretty good looking card. I thought I had a chance at a 9. Usually you see trouble on these edges. You see some whiting on the back on these edges, but I don't see anything. Looks super clean. Sent in 2 KG Intimidation Nations. One came back a 9, one came back an 8. So that's kind of like what I expected on the 8. And it's a little bit, it's like hitting a double. It's not a home run, but it's like hitting a double on the 9. These cards don't grade real easy. They are what now, almost 25 years old. So not too bad to split and get an 8 and a 9. We got a Shaq High Risers. Another Stadium Club has got a lot of inserts that I like that I think are a little bit under the radar. Got double 9s here, which I'm super thrilled with. Foil front, pretty tough on the back edges since it's color everywhere, not white, but it's just kind of like white, you see a little bit of white on the bottom right corners. I was surprised I got 9s on both of these. I was not expecting a 9, so super pleased with these. A couple of the insert sets from Stadium Club that I like are High Risers, the one you're looking at, and there's a members only in here as well. And then Stadium Club Fusion is another one that I really like a lot that I think's under the radar, which also has a members only, obviously, since it's Stadium Club. The only 10 in the batch here, a spoiler alert, is this 2019 Panini Select Shaquille O'Neal Top Selections Gold. The card's numbered to 10. It came back a Gem Mint 10, which I'm thrilled about. Serial numbered 4 out of 10, as you can see there on the bottom left. This card was actually a Secret Santa gift that I received from a really reputable, fantastic collector in the hobby. Thank you, Phil. Really excited about this one. Came back a PSA 10, so thrilled to add this. This will go in my collection. It's the only gold shack I have, and well, really, I guess it's probably a pop 1 or pop 2. I didn't really look. I probably should have gone and looked at the pop and talked to you guys about that. Oh, I think I actually did that on the spreadsheet. Stay tuned and you'll see a spreadsheet with all the results at the end of this video. 95 Skybox Premium Standouts Hobby. This is a insert that's a lot more rare than people realize. Picture with Jordan showing you he has massive hands. He's got the black Concords on, palming the ball in his right hand, getting hand checked, which was legal back then. Pretty disappointed. It graded an 8. I thought it looked incredibly clean given how condition sensitive this particular card is. Really good looking card. Just, you know, really good looking card. Just a nice little narrative on the back talking about Jordan after he came back from his 21-month hiatus, or his exodus from the hobby, his brief exodus, temporary exodus. The 96 EX2000 base. PSA 10, as I've said many times, these don't look like base cards. You've usually got issues, and you can see a little bit of issue here. This window pane, like the white or the silverish looking foil around it, is a little bit uneven. Sometimes these are diamond cut, and you can see a little bit of diamond cutting on this one as well. This is anything but a typical ordinary base card. Just a really good looking card. I mean, it's got tremendous eye appeal, and you can see through. That window is translucent. You see my hand back here? So just a really cool looking card. Really pops in the PSA slab. Very happy with the PSA 9. I'm spitting all over the card, sorry. Really happy about this PSA 9 96 Skybox EX2000 base card. I've got a 10 in my collection, so that 9, almost all these cards will be for sale except for the Shack PSA 10 and one of the Shack High Risers. Really astonished here. Ended up with a PSA 6. As you can see on the front, the card looks absolutely fantastic. I think they hit me with some of this. This is an interesting card, and I didn't explore the card episode on this. Do you see this kind of like reddening, browning looking of the net right here? I think that's part of the card. I think it's supposed to have that reddish, brownish color. It's not supposed to be bright white. Like down here, you see how the net's bright white? Well, up here, it's actually kind of brownish and reddish. I've seen that on PSA 10s, and so I guess maybe they hammered me on that, and that's why I got a PSA 6. Otherwise, it looks really good to me. You know, you'll see a lot of that browning and reddening on the back as well. Maybe I'm wrong. Comment below if I'm just nuts, but I've seen PSA 9s and 10s that have that kind of browning or reddish, you know, bronzish, ruddy color on the net string. So PSA 6, fantastic. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Obviously, it's for sale. Still, it's a pretty rare card. Oops, sorry. Got a little excited there. Next is a card, the only card out of the 18 that came back men's size. You know, it's a Power in the Key, was in pretty good condition. I was expecting probably a PSA 8 on this one, maybe a PSA 9, I don't know, depending on how lenient they want it to be. Probably a PSA 8. You can see some chipping on the edge up there in the top. This is probably an 8 condition card. You know, came back men's size. Obviously, it wasn't trimmed. I bought it from a raw collection. Anyway, it is what it is. So I'll probably run that up the flagpole again. I don't know if PSA has that fingerprint technology where they can tell that they've already graded a card or not, but 98 Seasons Best, this is SB6. Most people call it Bombardiers, which you can see across the top, but I don't think technically it's called Bombardiers. It's just called Seasons Best. Card number SB6. Good looking card. Happy to get it in a 9. I already own this card in a 10, which is a super rare card. But a 9 is actually a pretty valuable card as well, so I'll be looking to flip that one for a profit. Again, you'll see what I paid for each of these raw cards. You'll see how much the grading fee was. I won a PSA economy event, as I discussed in the introduction. And so we'll run all the numbers. I'll show you all of the numbers start to finish on this little 20 card or this little 18 card investment. Michael Jordan 97 Metal Universe PSA 8. Really good looking clean copy here. This is Pop Control at its finest. There is no way this card is an 8. No way at all. I mean, look at the corners, absolute razor sharp, not an ounce of white anywhere. I mean, this is as clean gets, front and back. Corners are precise. Maybe up there, yeah, I see it. I see a little whitening on there, but honestly, I think that takes it from a 9 to from a 10 to a 9, but but to jump to an 8, I don't know, maybe there's something I didn't see, or maybe it's just arbitrary. All right, and now this was a kind of a bulk little investment I did. I love this 90 Skybox set, and for those of you who don't know, there was a prototype that was released, which is a significantly more rare than the actual 1990 Skybox cards themselves. So I sent 6 of these in raw. I knew they weren't perfect, but if you go look at the pop report, these prototypes are really rare and very condition sensitive, so very tough to grade. I don't know, look, 6 seems really harsh. I get it, it's not perfectly centered. I get you can, peer really closely and see some white. I know these are not perfect cards, but this is not what a PSA 6 looks like. That's just PSA being overly harsh in my opinion. 2 PSA 7s right behind them, okay? And then 2 PSA 8s as well. That's it, guys. So that does it. That's it. But I'm about to transition you over to the big picture, and we'll do a little picture-in-picture, and you guys can see my spreadsheet that I created. I like to keep track of numbers. I'm kind of nerdy and math-oriented, but you'll see the spreadsheet here coming up just a second. I'll explain everything, and you can kind of see what the profit margin is. This is just a great example of how I've kind of transitioned my collecting. I've always bought raw, graded, and then sold for profit so I could reinvest that in cards that I want to keep long-term. I've just had to transition and change the bullets that I'm putting in my gun. So instead of buying a bunch of Prism base or a bunch of Prism silver or Prism, non-serial numbered colors and grading those and flipping them, I've transitioned to the cards that I know and love a lot more from the 90s and even some into the 80s, but mostly 90s cards, where you don't have to get a PSA 10 to make great margins. You can actually grade these cards and get the 7s, 8s, and 9s just like I showed you and do absolutely just fine. So stay tuned, check out the spreadsheet, and you'll see what I mean. All right, fellas, hopefully you guys enjoyed looking at some pretty cool cards from the 90s. These are the types of cards that I've transitioned to, as I mentioned in the video. Instead of grading a bunch of select optic and base prisms and then some shiny select optic and base prisms and some revolutions and some of the ultra modern stuff, because of the shift in the market and where the money is going, I put my money into some 90s cards and tried to do the same buy raw, grade, flip game, make some profits, reinvest that profit into the Jordan cards that are super short print, super high grade, that I love so much, that you guys see me collecting and gathering on mail days. So that's really what my most enjoyable thing about the hobby is. Buy and invest and then flip that money and turn that money around and go buy bigger cards that I wouldn't be able to afford otherwise. So hopefully you guys enjoyed looking at some of those really cool cards. All right, here we go. You guys want to see the spreadsheet. You want to see how the numbers turned out, right? So here we go. You've already seen each of the cards. So here's the 18 cards. Here's the grades they received. I went ahead and put the population of each card in this grade in here. Again, something we never talk about, but when I've got a PSA 8 card, if it's a pop 7, that doesn't really mean anything to me. If you guys ever hear somebody say, oh, I've got a PSA 7, blah, 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 it's a pop 4 card. Well, the question you should be asking is how many 8s, 9s, and 10s are there, right? It's not just what the population is in that grade. It's one thing if you've got a PSA 10 and you're saying, hey, it's a pop, 7. But if you've got a PSA 7 and you're saying it's a pop 7, well, if there's 700 PSA 8s, 1,000 PSA 9s, and then 80 PSA 10s, it's not really a pop 7, is it? And so I've gone ahead, I just put the pop for that particular grade. So keep in mind, if it's an 8 and it's a pop 1, for example, there's Gary Payton, there could be pop 9s and pop 10s out there. I just put the pop for that particular grade. In this case, there aren't very many of those Intimidation Nations. But let's look at this table. So you've got the raw price that I paid for each one of these cards right here in this column, as you can see. Hopefully you guys can see this on your video screen. I've got a PSA fee of $51.75 each. That's basically my $50 fee plus my shipping and insurance total investment. That's what's paid to PSA. Divided by 18 cards comes out, it's 932 bucks. Divided by 18 cards is $51.75 per card, right, to cover insurance and shipping, plus the $50 grading fee for the economy event. I've got my total invested in each card. For instance, on this first Kevin Garnett PSA 8, it's basically a $359 investment. You guys are going to look at these raw prices. I overpaid for a couple of these because I was trying to put that set together, and I really took a meticulous attention to detail when I looked at it on eBay, because I thought some of these were not just your average raw cards. Some cards, you can pick up a raw Kevin Garnett Intimidation Nation for significantly less than 300 bucks. The reason I chose this particular card and paid that particular price is because I thought the card had a chance at a 9 or a 10, right? And so on the Garnets, remember, I split. I had an 8 and I had a 9. Ironically, the card that I paid $307 for got an 8. The card I paid $243 for got a 9. So you never know. You win some, you lose some. Long story short, these cards in their gross fair market value is significantly more than I had invested. So you can kind of see how I did on each one of these cards. On the high risers, I did fantastic. But the problem is, I graded fantastic at 9s, but I really needed to hit 10s. When you add in the grading fee and the raw price, I'm in for about $87, $81. The gross fair market value is $125. If I sold it on eBay or PWCC, I'd probably only be netting $106.25 after shipping if I sell it on eBay plus eBay fees. So not a huge dollar margin there, but it's not bad to make money on 9s. It's basically like I got 2 fray swings at a 10, plus I collect shacks while sticking in the account. The gold card, as we mentioned, is not for sale. I did really well on that. The net fair market value on that's $212. I paid nothing for it, so I was into it for the grading fee. Again, that was a Secret Santa gift from a group chat that I'm in on Instagram, which is really fun. Let's see, the biggest card on here is, what is this? It's the Bombardiers, right? It's that Top Season's Best from 1998. I paid $45 for it raw. It was a private deal that I got done. You'll see 45 on a lot of these cards right here. Each of these cards right here was in a raw deal that I bought from a local dealer here in town. I paid on average, it was a lump sum deal where I bought these 5 cards, but I paid on average $45. $51 to grade each, so I was in for each one of these for $96.75. And you guys can see over here the gross fair market value, the comps that I ran for these cards, $325, $350. I lost on the power and the key because the dang thing didn't get graded. It was deemed to be a minimum size card, so that's the only card I think, looking at this chart, that's the only card I think I lost on. And so $391, $120, so I won on all of those raw Jordan cards, which I was really happy about. Jordans are real easy to move, they're really easy to sell, and honestly, they're almost always, historically over the years, they're going to go up, even in 8 and 9s. So I don't have to be in a hurry to sell those. I can list them, buy it now, or best offer, or put on there a very aggressive price. And if they sell, they sell. And if they don't, they just sit in my inventory. It's really not a big deal. The prototypes, I wish I'd have done better. I really think I got screwed on the grades. I had 2 6s, 2 7s, and 2 8s. I really thought I had better prototype cards than that. So I was kind of 0 for 6. The 8s, whatever. The 8s are like hitting a single, right? The 6s and 7s, that just sucks. That's a punch in the face. But look at this. Even the 6s and the 7s sell for more than my purchase price plus the grading fee. So it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. I didn't lose money really on any of them too bad. It doesn't look like. Maybe a little bit on one of these. On the 6s, maybe I lost a little bit of money, but on the 8s, I did just fine, and on the 7s even, I just slightly more than broke even. Really, the big winner here is probably going to be this Kevin Garnett Intimidation Nation PSA 9. Unfortunately, that's the one I'm probably not going to sell because I'm trying to collect that Intimidation Nation set, all PSA 9 or 10 graded. It's a set that I really like. If you guys aren't familiar with it, go check it out. It's a really cool insert set from 98 Skybox Premium, which has tons of great insert sets. So total net fair market value, I am at $36.38. The total amount invested, I'm at $21.95. So if we do $36.38, and remember, this is after eBay fees and all that stuff. The only thing that's not taken out of here is taxes for Uncle Sam. But if you take the $36.38 and subtract the $21.95, you get a net profit of $1,443. Flipping 90s cards, that's not bad, especially when I got 2 6s and then I got one card that didn't even grade that I lost on. That's not a bad batting average there. It's a 65.7% profit margin. That's a pretty good profit margin for a 6-week period. In my opinion, if you could do that 10 times a year, that's a good chunk of change that you could take and reinvest in the cards that you love, or just rinse and repeat and do this process again. Anyway, hopefully you guys like those numbers. I don't know, I'm super nerdy, but I know there's got to be somebody out there that's like me that likes to kind of do these deep dive analysis. There's more than just getting the cards back and opening them up and looking at them. Yeah, that's really fun, but the question's always, I wonder what that guy made on that card. I wonder what he paid for it, right? So everybody's showing these big banger cards, but it's like, what did you pay for the raw card? Well, Cajuns have have a great long history of dumpster diving and finding great deals and being diligent in their research, and I'm no different. So I like the idea that I've got a little bit of money to be made as well. So here I am having fun, doing what I love, collecting in the hobby, and making a little bit of change on the side. Again, some of that money goes to Uncle Sam if I decide to sell these cards. Like I said, out of these 18 cards, probably 15 are going to be for sale. A couple of the Shacks I'm going to keep, and the KG Intimidation Nation I keep. I'll probably run that Power and the Key up the flagpole again and just eat another $50 and hope that PSA slabs it an 8 or a 9. And then hopefully that card will have a good margin. So anyway, that's it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know if you like these videos in the comments. I've got another humongous grade reveal coming up. It's a little over, I think a little over 200 cards. I'm trying to remember. It's all ultra modern shiny stuff. And don't judge me. These cards were sent 16 months ago. These were bulk order pricing that I sent 16 months ago at 25 bucks a card, maybe 20 bucks a card. I'm trying to remember. I'll have another spreadsheet similar to this one, not quite as detailed because it's a much bigger order. But what's ironic about this other PSA grade reveal that I've got coming up, it was the best results I've ever gotten from PSA, and I lost money. It's the first time I've ever lost money on a PSA submission, and it was the best gem percentage I've ever received. That should tell you how much the hobby's changed. The cards I sent were the wrong cards. They were the right cards 16 months ago. They got the grades I wanted them to get. But now, people don't want those types of cards. So stay tuned to that video coming up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell icon for notifications. You're definitely not going to want to miss this PSA grade reveal that's coming up. It's interesting because my best is also my worst. So you guys go figure. The hobby is crazy nowadays, but I think you're going to enjoy that video. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Keep collecting. Stay positive in the hobby, and peace.